the help with my car that became a 5-year debt. When I was finally able to afford my first decent car after years of saving from a low-paying job, I was ecstatic. It wasn't new, but it was reliable and something I was genuinely proud of. My mom, sensing my independence, suddenly became very interested. She offered to help with a small non-essential repair that I was planning to do myself later, saying she knew a guy who could do it cheaper and faster. I was hesitant, knowing her help always came with strings, but she was insistent and framed it as a loving gesture, a way to celebrate my achievement. Against my better judgment, I agreed. The repair was done and she paid the guy directly. I thanked her profusely and asked how much I owed her so I could pay her back immediately. She waved her hand dismissively, saying, "Oh, don't worry about it now. It's just a little something from your mother. You can get me back sometime." This should have been my first major red flag, but I was still caught in the cycle of hoping for genuine parental affection. For the next 5 years, that small repair became her favorite weapon. Every time I couldn't do something she wanted, or if I set a boundary or even just had plans that didn't involve her, she would bring it up. "After all I did for you helping with your car," or "You're being so ungrateful, especially after I paid for that repair." The amount she paid was never mentioned, but the debt grew exponentially in her narrative. It didn't matter that I had done countless favors for her, driven her places, helped her move, spent holidays catering to her demands. The car repair was the gift that kept on giving for her as a source of leverage. It was a constant reminder that I was supposedly indebted to her for a minor convenience she had insisted upon. The breaking point came years later when she was demanding I cancel a trip I had planned with friends to drive her to a doctor's appointment that was easily accessible by public transport. When I explained I couldn't, the line came out sharper than ever. "After I practically bought you that car," I finally snapped, calmly stating that the small repair she helped with years ago did not equate to buying a vehicle, and that her constant bringing it up was manipulative. Her reaction was explosive rage, followed by the silent treatment. While the immediate aftermath was stressful, that incident was pivotal. It solidified my understanding that her generosity was never about giving, it was always about creating obligation and control. It taught me that sometimes refusing even a seemingly small favor is necessary to avoid being trapped in a never-ending cycle of manufactured debt and guilt. Yep, their generosity is just currency for control. You pay forever. If you know this feeling, hit that like and subscribe button now. That time, mom ruined my 8th birthday because she wasn't the center of attention. My 8th birthday party was supposed to be a big deal. It was the first time I was allowed to invite my entire class, not just a select few approved by mom. We were having it at a local park with a playground and picnic tables. I was buzzing with excitement for weeks. The day arrived sunny and perfect. Kids started showing up, parents dropped them off, and the park was filled with laughter and the general chaos of excited children. Everything was going great. My dad was there, helping with games, and my grandma, his mom, bless her, brought the cake. About an hour in, I noticed mom hovering on the edge of the group, looking increasingly agitated. She wasn't engaging with the other parents, wasn't helping with anything, just watching with a sour expression. I was busy opening presents and playing with my friends, mostly oblivious. Suddenly she marched over, grabbed my arm way too hard, and pulled me aside. Her face was set in a hard mask of fury. "Nobody is paying attention to me," she hissed, her voice low but vibrating with anger. "This is ridiculous. I'm the one who organized this." I was confused and scared. What was I supposed to do about that? I was 8 and it was my party. She continued to rant about how unappreciated she was, how the other parents were rude, how I was ignoring her. She made a huge scene loud enough for some of the parents nearby to hear. The festive atmosphere evaporated. Kids started looking uncomfortable. My dad tried to intervene, but she just turned her fury on him. Then she did the unthinkable. She declared the party was over, right then and there. She started telling the other parents they needed to pick up their children immediately, citing some made-up excuse about needing to leave. My friends looked devastated, and I started crying, begging her not to. She just glared at me, completely unmoved by my distress or the confused faces of the children. The party ended abruptly, with confused parents rushing to collect their kids and me sobbing by the picnic table. Mom acted like she was the wrong party the entire ride home, complaining about how everyone had ruined her day. My birthday was forgotten, overshadowed by her need for attention and her punishment for not receiving it. That memory is burned into my mind, It wasn't just about a ruined party. It was a clear message that my feelings, my happiness, and even my special day were secondary to her emotional needs and her need to be the absolute center of the universe. It taught me early on that her love and approval were conditional on me prioritizing her, even on my own birthday. The involuntary flinch when someone raises their hand near me. It happens in the most mundane situations, someone reaching across the table for the salt shaker, a colleague gesturing enthusiastically during a meeting, my partner reaching out to gently brush hair from my face, and every time for a split second my body reacts before my conscious mind can catch up. A quick involuntary flinch, a tightening of muscles, a brief spike of adrenaline. Growing up with a narcissistic parent, physical intimidation was a common tool, not necessarily outright hitting every time, but the threat was always present. Loud yelling, objects being thrown, not usually at me but near me, and the constant unpredictable movements that signaled impending rage. A hand suddenly raised, not to strike but perhaps just to point or emphasize a furious word, was enough to wire my young nervous system to anticipate pain or violence. Their moods were volatile. One moment they could be calm, the next a minor perceived slight could trigger an explosion. This unpredictability meant I was always on high alert, scanning for danger signals, a sudden movement, a change in tone of voice, a particular look in their eyes, all became triggers for my body's fight or flight response. Even now, years removed from that environment and in a safe, loving relationship, those old wires still cross sometimes. But yet my rational brain knows I am not in danger. I know the person reaching out means no harm, but the primal part of me, the part that learned to protect itself in a chaotic and threatening home, still reacts. It's a deeply ingrained physical memory of fear. It's frustrating and sometimes embarrassing. I have to quickly mask the reaction, offer a small, reassuring smile to the person who likely didn't even notice, and internally remind myself that I am safe now. My partner understands, having seen it before, and is incredibly patient and gentle. It's a stark reminder of the long-lasting impact of living under constant psychological and emotional threat. The trauma isn't just in the memories, it's embedded in the body, in the way it responds to the world. It's a silent testament to the environment my narcissistic parent created, an environment where even a simple gesture could feel like a prelude to pain. Wow, that involuntary flinch response is so real. Does your body still react to past trauma like this? Let us know in the comments. Realizing my NMom's concern was just surveillance. For years, I mistook my NMom's relentless questioning about my life as genuine care. Every phone call, every visit, it was a barrage of questions. What are you doing? Who are you with? Where are you going? What time will you be back? What did you eat? How much money do you have? It felt suffocating, but I rationalized it as her just being an overprotective mother. She'd frame it as love. I just worry about you, she'd say, or a mother has a right to know what her child is doing. Any attempt to push back or ask for privacy was met with accusations of being secretive, ungrateful, or having something to hide. This made me feel guilty and reinforced the idea that her intrusive behavior was normal and based on love. As I got older and started forming healthier relationships, I noticed a stark contrast. My friends' parents, while caring, respected their privacy and independence. They didn't demand minute-by-minute updates or interrogate them about every aspect of their lives. This was my first clue that NMom's behavior wasn't typical. The real realization hit when I started setting boundaries, when I stopped answering her calls every single time, or when I gave vague answers to her intrusive questions. Her concern morphed instantly into suspicion and anger. She wasn't worried about my safety. She was angry that she wasn't in control of the information about my life. She couldn't stand not knowing what I was doing because she couldn't stand not having influence over it. Her questions weren't born of love, they were reconnaissance. She was gathering data points to use later, either for gossip, for manipulation, or simply to feel like she was still pulling the strings. My life wasn't something for her to support. It was a performance she needed to monitor and critique. This revelation was painful but incredibly freeing. It allowed me to see her care for what it truly was, a form of surveillance and control disguised as maternal affection. It gave me the clarity I needed to stop feeling guilty about setting boundaries and to recognize that her intrusive behavior was a reflection of her own issues, not a measure of my worth or trustworthiness. It was a crucial step in reclaiming my own space and narrative away from her constant prying gaze. Yeah, it is not care. It is control disguised as love, so manipulative. Which story hit you hardest today? Like and subscribe before you go.